Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Bob Connor here once again with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the 48 Hours movie DVD complete collection. Because obviously there's only two films, um, and there's no need to say um, whether they're going to make, they only ever made two, and they're never going to make a third, or as far as I know, so it's quite straightforward that there's only two in the franchise. So obviously, 48 Hour movie. Now, I didn't really see it much when I was younger. I might have seen it a couple of times, but I don't think I was really interested in it much. Um, I always used to watch Beverly Hills Cop when I was younger, and that used to really interest me. This, I don't know, didn't really seem interesting to me. Maybe I was too young at the time. I don't know, but I was more interested in watching Beverly Hills Cop films, in particular the first one. But this, yeah, I don't know. I mean, had I known, as I've got older, um, how good it was, then maybe I would have looked at it. But I don't know. I'm not too sure anyway. Yeah, I mean, it might have been too violent for me when I was younger. Maybe that's why I didn't watch it much. I don't know. Anyway, what was the case? But you could go over, what happened 25 or 30 years ago. It's what's in the past is in the past. But anyway, yeah. So 48 Hours, the cop thriller, uh, so to speak, action film, starring obviously the two main stars of it, Nick Nolte and legendary Eddie Murphy. Well, Nick Nolte's a legend, I guess, as well. He's been in a lot of films. And Eddie Murphy star in this as the two main stars. And yeah, it's quite a combination, to be fair. I quite like the combo of these two. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Murphy's anyway. I love him as an actor and love him in Beverly Hills Cop. And in this, he's pretty fantastic, and Nick Nolte is good as well. And as I said, I think they sort of bounce off of each other, and the chemistry is there, like convos between them. And yeah, I like the teaming from the pair, and I think it works quite well. And yeah, I mean, in general, it's a really good film. I think it done quite well when it came out, and sort of launched Eddie Murphy's career and made him like a big actor that he was. I think he got like Beverly Hills Cop after that, and loads of other film roles. And yeah, I think it helped sort of launch his career because obviously he came from comedy mostly, and then transitioned to film. And yeah, and he was just really well, and it just really worked. I think I do prefer Eddie in Bev's Cop, but this is really, really good. You know, and he does really well in this. And as I say, Nick Nolte's good as well. And yeah, as a film, I think it's a really decent one. It is probably one of the best ones of the 80s, the early 80s, like about 81, 82, where all these sort of early 80s action films are starting to come about. It's, at the peak of the time where, there was all, and they set the bar for all these films nowadays, and yeah, I think it's a really good film. I've seen it a couple of times now, and always enjoy it. I think it's really good all the way through. The action is good. Storyline's quite good. The acting's pretty good, and the villains are quite hard to beat. Very tough. Yeah, and I think yeah, I mean no complaints really, other than maybe it's maybe 10 minutes too short. I think just with these hour and a half films, uh, slightly less than half an hour, they just they just seem to go so quick when you watch them. I think that would be my only issue, really. Um, I mean, I know it's only an issue and it doesn't really affect much, but I think maybe other than it could have been 10 minutes longer just to make it more sort of enjoyable. But it just seems to be over so quickly. These films are an hour and a half or less, and I just think all right. You enjoy it for the hour and a half, but I don't know. It just seems every time I watch these films, it seems to be over so quick. When I try and relax, hour and a half just seems to fly by. I think maybe 10 minutes longer, but so other than that, it's pretty good, and I don't think there's any issues at all with it, to be honest. Now coming over to the second one, obviously called it Another 48 Hours, and you know when I was looking at the franchise and that, just looking at a few details on our website, cinema. Um, um, Apparently, this didn't do as well as the first. But to be honest, I don't know why. To be honest, and obviously Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte back again. Um, Reprising their roles. Obviously, great to have them both back. Shame they didn't do any more, to be honest. Maybe would have liked another one, but it was two. And back again, and they're just as good in this as they was in the first. And yeah, as I said, I don't really know why this didn't do as well as the first one, because I quite think it's quite good as a sequel, and I quite enjoy it actually, to be honest. All right, yeah, it's not all right. It might not be as good, but I don't think there's really any issues with it. I don't see why it isn't just as good. Um, because I think it's pretty solid all the way through. Um, yeah, and again, maybe 10 minutes too short because it's just over too quickly. But other than that, I've seen this a few times now, and I actually think it's quite a good sequel. I mean, to be honest, a lot of films in the 80s and 90s, whenever they made sequels and stuff, to be honest, most of them were quite good. Bev's Cop 2, Lethal Weapon 2, Mad Max 2, this. To be fair, back then sequels were pretty good and sometimes just as good as the first, and sometimes even in some cases better than the first. So to me, really, I don't know why people were complaining and saying, it's not like now where sometimes the sequels are not, not as good or better than the first. But back then, the sequels were pretty good, to be honest. For me, I don't really have any issues. As I said, apart from it being just over too quickly and 10 minutes shorter, for me, this is pretty solid all the way through. I think Eddie and Nick just as good as they are in the first. I like the chemistry between them. The acting's pretty good, and I quite like it all the way through. And I think it's enjoyable. I like the storyline. The action and violence is very strong, just as good as it is in the first. So no issues there. And I really like the villains in it, like the sort of because I'm into my rock and metal, and I sort of like the biker rock look. So I really like the villains in it, the bikers. And they're really, really tough and very hard to beat, just like the villains are in the first. Very, very tough and hard to beat. Um, and I think they're really good. And yeah, as I said, I think in general, actually, it's just as good as the first. All right, you could argue and say, all right, it might not be, but I think it's a pretty strong sequel, to be honest. I mean, there's no complaints from me, to be honest, apart from it being just a bit too short. I think it's pretty solid. There's no time in it where it's boring. And yeah, I just think it's quite good, to be honest. And all the way through. Yeah, but so so guys, I'm gonna keep this. I mean, to be fair, I only wanted to keep these type of videos about 5 minutes because there's only so much you can talk about it with just two films. But this has gone twice as long as I wanted it to go. But I suppose it don't matter on this occasion. But yeah, I just wanted to talk briefly about them, and I mean, they're probably what 40 years old now, so I'm guessing there's been a lot of reviews done on them already. But I just thought I'd do my reviews like I do on all my videos and DVDs. I just like to do my collection, because they're out of my collection, and just bring them to show you in my collection, and giving you just a brief chat what my views are, and yeah, and I know people enjoy watching these type of things, so hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, that's pretty much the end. So guys, take care, see you soon, bye for now.